They called him Glovebeard.
Yeah.
Greetings, programs. Welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons, where we play D&D like badasses, but you all knew that already. Welcome to another episode of
Room Design, what the skull commands.
In this episode, I'm going to try to answer a long-standing question from the What the Skull Commands series, which someone asked if they would show my setup. We're going to show the setup. What is the setup? The setup is this room, which we use, obviously, to film the videos, but also it provides a convenient and effective way to build rooms and, more importantly, to design them. So the first thing you're going to see is this board right here. We don't really need these. Well, I mean, you do need these, but we don't need these at the moment. Okay, so the first thing you see is this board right here. Now you recognize this from the videos, except this is very stripped down. So I just have my good old wooden blocks, and I have like 2 goats and a couple of characters and a rock. And this is often the place that the magic will happen. So there's always a little bit of sketchbook involved, and then you really want to take a look at scale on a practice board like this as a dungeon master, because it can give you a great sense of how many moves things are apart. So you got your little man and you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's going to be about 3 moves, so it's going to take him about 3 turns, and so I can do that. And maybe I want this here for line of sight, or maybe what I want to do is make a tunnel, or maybe the idea is that the only way they can survive this is to retreat onto this rock, and so I'm going to make all that happen. Okay, whatever. But you just get your idea done in a very rough form between your sketchbook and your sort of abstract game design platform. So that's how a lot of the thinking happens that goes into the rooms that constitute our PvE group. Okay, great. So that's how you get the ideas going. So what's your setup? How do you make all the crap and get it all ready to go? Okay, that's what we're going to look at. So the first part of the layer that you can see is the workbench here. And the workbench is all the paint. Everyone needs a giant bag of sawdust. So all kinds of little junk and doodads and crafty items. You got Zacto knives and glue gun. And then, of course, everybody has their cool book collection, some minis. Got, enough popsicle sticks to kill a man. Plenty of styrofoam laying around and all that stuff. Okay, so that's that piece. And then if you'll follow me over here, this is the library of props that I use. So, those of you who saw the Tower of Death video, this is the Tower of Death. And then I kind of have it just categorized. So like up here we have little stuff. Like we got little walkways and ladders, and we got cool like lodestones on chains, and little battle standards. We got like miniature wagon and all kinds of stuff like that. Next step down is like small obstacles. So these are like spires of rock, spike pits, generic walls. We have like pieces of stairways. And then you have some other base pieces, some of this crazy bug melty poop stuff. Keep all this stuff here, and then we'll do usually 3 rooms a night with the group. So the first night, the first room of the night I will have prepared when the group comes over. And then after sitting there for about an hour or hour and a half to do the first room, everybody needs a break anyways, get the butt blood out. So while they rest, I'll come in here and I will sort of put the next room together. So this is just an idea space, right? I'm just using that to come up with ideas. But, let's say this was the first room of the night, then I already have it set up. So there's a bad guy spawner, and there's some walls, and there's like this weird little platformy thing, and then there's a wagon. And then I'm like, well, that platformy thing needs to be up off the ground, so I can use whatever. Use like one of these, stick it on there, and say, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Okay, and then there's that, and there's a little spire, and then there's this weird memorial rock. And then there's the entrance. And another wall. And okay, there you go. So the night begins, the players show up, and I like have this ready, right? So I'll go, okay guys. This is a pine frame that we made that we lined with black felt. And then what I'll do is say, well, there's this weird rock here, and it leads to these stairs. And then, I don't know, at the top of the stairs there's a cage and there's a guy in there. And then, like, there's some rubble over here. And then there's like a bridge. Okay, so now you can see, like, instead of making it on one big playboard, what you do is you use the black to imply the void, and then you kind of create these sort of suspenseful spaces. Another one that's fun to do is kind of turn things on their side, like now, and then start to build some height. And the height can really add a cool feel to things like that. So you guys probably saw the crane video, so here's our crane. So get some height going like that, and then where's another thing here? There's a thing. So then get like your platform over here. So sort of the only way to cross this gap might be to use the swiveling crane with some, and then put it there, and they can. So you see, this is the design of room design. So also, if you pan up a little bit, you might notice this little setup right here. Made a pulley setup so we can put the GoPro up here and make time lapses while we do the crafting. And you can actually, time lapse while you move it, or we can adjust what the best angle is. You guys have seen some of that. So that's pretty much it. You need to have one of these laying around so that you get cool dramatic lighting for your close-up photos. That's about it. That is the design of room design. That's how it all gets come up with. Really though, Dungeon Masters, all this kind of goofy stuff, there is no replacement for good solid work in your grimoire, in your sketchbook, in your DM's book. Just a nice little 2D sense of your map, and a good idea of what the real mechanics are of the room. Is it just a room where there's a twist in a tunnel and there's a monster? Because that's plenty. But if you have a clear sense of that, you can really roll up and give a lot of flavor to everything you're doing. You can, draw on other games and other experiences in a pinch when you don't have enough time to prepare. So I didn't look online to see who asked originally, but somebody said, show us your setup. So there you go, my man. The skull is fulfilled. And hope you enjoyed this one. So thoughts on maybe how to do some room designs of your own, work with your sketchbook, work with your flat board, and just use some blocks and some figures and just try to figure out some encounters before your players are even anywhere near. This is like 2 weeks until our next play session. And also consider using a black felt box. It's fun to roll dice on, and it's a great implication of the void. Like the players get a real sense of fear about falling off of things, and that adds a lot to the game. So that is how room design gets done. So get it done, and hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, put a comment down below. How are you doing room designs? How's it going? Are you upping your game? Are your mechanics getting cool? Are your players freaking out? Because if they're freaking out, you're doing a damn good job. So please comment down below, like the video, give me that thumbs up, because you can't have enough thumbs, right? If I learned one thing from 2001, you cannot have enough thumbs. I think we're going to be putting the tip jar up somewhere in the video here. Otherwise, it's somewhere on the page. You can tip us. In case you forgot, we are working our way toward a second live webcam, and when we get enough of them, which will probably be like $250, something like that, we're going to do a live night of D&D using the YouTube control room and multiple cameras, and it's going to be awesome. But we want to buy the cameras with the tips from the channel, so make it a symbiotic relationship. Give me $1. That's what this has come to. It started as a beautiful aesthetic explorations in Dungeons and Dragons, and now it's just please tip me. It's terrible. It's like I'm busking on the internet. Thanks for watching, guys. Strength, honor, and beer, and see you next time for another episode of
Room design as the skull commands.